Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and we're going to be talking about one of the most recent news in the NFL. Well, there's been a lot of news in the NFL today with off-season stuff coming up, head coach and stuff. But one of the most official things that we've gotten today that has to do with the New Orleans Saints. Well, actually, we've had something else with the Saints with a Broncos interview, but something that's happened with the Saints and Michael Thomas. Has got the NFL the fans talking about what's next for Michael Thomas, and his what's next, what team's next for him, as the New Orleans Saints and Michael Thomas have reportedly restructured his contract for the 2023 season that would send him to be a free agent this offseason. And also it also says here that he could with the signing with this restructured deal, he could become a free agent as soon as March 17th, 2023. But also it says that the Saints could release Michael Thomas. That it's another option to try to get rid of his salary. I think that no one really thought that Michael Thomas was going to turn to New Orleans. There was some tension there. He set out to return to the Saints this season, and he started the season. I thought he started pretty good. First two games, he played 3 games this year. Had 16 receptions, 171 yards, 171 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns. In 3 games, that's pretty good. His first game back in over 2 years, he comes back and has in his first game back he gets 5 receptions, 57 yards, and 2 touchdowns. In his first game back in like a year and a half or 2. And then the next game, 6 receptions, 65 yards, 1 touchdown. And then we saw him play his last game, 5 receptions, 49 yards. And then he'd get injured, would be on the IR for the rest of the year. So just trouble, injuries for him. That's been the problem for him for a couple years now. And I'm going to be talking about with the restructured deal, and not only his deal being restructured, I think most likely the Saints will release Michael Thomas, once they get the chance. As soon as they can release it, well, not as soon, but, a little bit before the new year, the NFL new year starts, they will waive him. If not right after, the Saints, to get rid of cap, they will release Michael Thomas. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about where I could see him going. I got a list of 4 teams, and here is the list. Number 1, I got the New England Patriots on number 1. If the Patriots are going to make changes to their offense and, obviously the Patriots are still alive to make the playoffs. All they need to do tomorrow to make the playoffs is beat the Bills, which can be incredibly hard because they're facing a Buffalo Bills team who's going out there for Damar Hamlin tomorrow. And even if nothing happened to Damar Hamlin, it'd be a very hard game for you to face even without that fact. I think that the Bills are going to be playing for Damar tomorrow, and I think that as an NFL team, you do not want to face the Bills after what happened to them on Monday. I think the Bills can be extremely scary tomorrow, which could end the Patriots season. All the Patriots need to do to get in the playoffs is they need to beat the Bills, which is extremely hard. The Bills might not rest their players because the Chiefs have already locked the number 1 seed. So maybe the Bills rest their players and the Patriots get the easy win. But I don't see the Bills resting their players because they want to play for Damar. They're going to play that game for Damar tomorrow. For the Patriots, they need to get in. They need to win against the Bills. They need the Dolphins to lose against the Jets, which is not hard. Skylar Thompson is the starting QB for the Dolphins. But what I was going to go to is, even though the Patriots still got a shot at making the playoffs, they have no offense. Their wide receivers this year have been so bad, and I've never seen so many screen passes by a team that does not go well. I'm not blaming Mac Jones because it's an offensive coordinator problem. What the Patriots need to do is fire Matt Patricia and sign or draft or trade, whatever you want to do, get one of one Well, either sign, they need to get a wide receiver. I don't care how you do it. You need to get a wide receiver. I thought Michael Thomas was a good fit. He wants to be number one. I think New England's a great spot for that. Another place all of these, he would be number ones in, but Baltimore. Baltimore needs to get some wide receiver for Lamar. They shipped off Hollywood Brown. They need to get someone for Lamar Jackson. I think that, in my opinion, the Ravens, they're going to franchise tag Lamar, which means he's stuck there for next season. And they need to get him a wide receiver. I could see that being Michael Thomas. Then my third out of four teams is the Kansas City Chiefs. We've heard all the rumors about the Chiefs being interested in another wide receiver this trade deadline. I could see them going after somebody this offseason. That guy I could see being Michael Thomas. And then my fourth team is the New York Giants. The New York Giants, it's reported that they're intending to re-sign Daniel Jones, and not only Daniel Jones, but Saquon Barkley. I know the Giants are heading their path into the playoffs. They're getting ready for the wild card. They're going to be the 6th seed, but they still need a wide receiver if they're going to try to make the playoffs again or make a push. I don't know if I could see them winning a playoff game. I could see them being close with whoever they play. They would get their ass kicked by the 49ers, but I do think they could have a shot against the Vikings, of course. It's any given Saturday or any given Sunday, whenever you're playing in the wild card. So I'm not counting the Giants out, but in going into next season, the Giants need a new wide receiver. They had their chance at Odell. Obviously, Odell's not ready to play. And I think there could have been a couple other guys they could have signed, didn't go after him. I like the Giants wide receivers they got right now, but I just don't think it is. There's nobody, they don't have an exact number one. 1 week it's somebody else and it's someone else. They had the good rookie in Wan'Dale Robinson, and he'll be back next year. But he's not available. He tore his ACL. So I think that the Giants need a number one wide receiver. That could be a good option is Michael Thomas. There could be a couple other teams that I could see Michael Thomas going to. I don't see it happening, but possibly I could see him going to the Tennessee Titans. I don't see it happening, but I could. They need a wide receiver. I wouldn't doubt if it happened, but I don't think it will happen. The Green Bay Packers, if Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback, they need to finally go get him a wide receiver. But although I do think they will draft Jordan Addison with their first-round pick this year, so I don't think they really need Michael Thomas. But when you have Aaron Rodgers and you don't have any good wide receivers besides Christian Watson and Al Lazard, and you're Aaron Rodgers, 3-time, 4-time MVP, whatever he is, 3-time MVP. They need to get a wide receiver finally. I think they're going to do it with Jordan Addison in the draft this year, but it wouldn't surprise me if they don't, because that's what the Packers have been doing in the draft. I think there are so many teams that can go after Michael Thomas in this free agency this year when he goes to free agency or when he gets cut. But he's such an impact player if he's healthy, and I think that could be a very big factor into who signs him. It's like, people were staying away from Odell Beckham because of his injuries. Are people going to be scared to sign Michael Thomas because of his injuries? He hasn't had as bad as injuries as Odell has. In my opinion, Odell's had season-ending injuries. I mean, yes, did Thomas have a season-ending injury this year, but it was a toe injury. Odell's had torn ACLs, 2 torn ACLs in the same knee, multiple setbacks. I think Odell's a way more risky sign than Michael Thomas, in my opinion. I think it could be very interesting to see where Michael Thomas goes. Teams will definitely have in mind his health and need when he signs there. But I think it's very obvious that the Saints and Michael Thomas will be parting ways this offseason. We just don't know how is he going to be going to free agency? Will he be cut? My bet is he's going to be cut, just for cap space, money reasons. But Michael Thomas, let's see where he goes. I think this could be very interesting. He technically is one of the best wide receivers in this draft class, not draft class, in this wide receiver free agency class, because I remember checking the list a little like a couple weeks ago, but when I don't think the wide receiver class for free agency is not that deep this year. There's not a lot of decent wide receivers. There's some decent wide receivers, but I think that Michael Thomas, if he gets cut, could be a great option for teams to go after. Either if they need a number one or they need a number two. I think Thomas is open to either. I really do. I think that he'd play both. He was playing Morley. I would say he was actually playing more than number two earlier in the season because Chris Olave was kind of leaning towards more of the wide receiver one for them in the beginning of the season. So I think Michael Thomas would definitely play the wide receiver too. So yeah, I think it should be very interesting to see where he goes this offseason, and let's see. First him and the Saints have to part ways. Whether that's parting ways, just him going to free agency, or if that's them cutting him. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys' thoughts on Michael Thomas and what happens with him this season, and the Saints reworking his contract to send him into the 2023 free agency. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and peace out. Let me know your thoughts.